Because Tyler did not just pass on as a hero, he lived every single day as one. One of the many impossible parts for me in all of this is that I did not get a chance for final words with my brother. Tyler was most concerned in his final breaths for everyone else in that room. For Tyler to physically save someone else in his final moment was just simply who he was as a person. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time, but as always, he did the right thing. Tyler was incredibly smart, like our mom, and like our dad, he could always make light of any situation. I would pay every dollar I had right now just to hear his voice give the silver lining in all of this, where there seems to be no bright side or no hope. So while we are all here today to honor the hometown hero and the trooper that my brother was, I am here to honor my brother as the person he will always be. The lover of vacations and pool days, the fan of Christmas morning casserole and Red Bull vodkas, not together, the hardworking home renovator and provider, the leader of our family and neighborhood cul-de-sac, the problem solver, the protector. I kindly ask that each person here remembers my brother, not just today or this year, but for the next 50 years that he should have deservingly had on this earth. Please say his name every day. Ty, you were my hero long before the media knew you as one. I can't imagine going forward, and I pray that we can feel you with us each step of the way. Your phone number will always be on my speed dial. Your unwrapped present will always be under my tree. Your name will always be spoken in my home, and your voice will always be my point of reason. Your accomplishments and sacrifice will always be looked up to, and your unwavering love and pride for our family will always be in my heart. Thank you for everything, Ty. Please watch over us as you always have. I love you forever.
Thank you, Cassie, a family of strength. We will now have remarks by a dear family friend, Jay Bastianelli.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Bastianelli, and I was blessed to be Ty Snook's high school wrestling coach. In the fall of 2005, when Ty decided to attend St. Mark's, not only were we honored with the addition of Ty, but he brought quite the squad with him. Matt, his dad, as loyal as they come, and our biggest fan. If I called him at 3 a.m., to ask him to help roll up a mat, he would say, "Give me 15 minutes. I will be there." Brother Josh, an incredibly talented skateboarder, musician, actor, nacho consumer, and of course, wrestler. Mom, Karen, the Queen Bee. I might have been in charge of practice in the competitions, but at all the Snook pool parties and when the wrestlers slept over Ty and Josh's, they all knew who the captain of the ship was. Now, part of wrestling sometimes is you have to cut weight. Sometimes there's wrestlers, when they had the sleepovers at Snook's, they try to sneak a cookie in Mama Snook's kitchen. But she had a tripwire. She would catch you in the middle of the night if you were trying to cheat on your diet. And Cassie, who is now a distinguished teacher, mother, speaker, and woman. But when I look at her, I still only see the 9-year-old who adored her brothers and spent countless hours supporting them in a smelly gym. Ty's journey as a wrestler was not all sunshine and roses. As a 14-year-old who was a late bloomer, wrestling a challenging national schedule had its obstacles. Ty battled to the state tournament his freshman year with a 15-22 record. But Ty was born with a strong work ethic from his family and a desire to be great. On a cold February night in Dover, a champion was born. Ty pulled off a big upset in the quarterfinals when everything clicked and went on to place 4th in the state tournament. Ty built upon that confidence over the next 3 years. He eventually became state champion his senior year and earned an athletic scholarship at the University of Maryland to wrestle for an Olympian. Through those years, Ty's physical appearance changed dramatically, as well as his capabilities as a competitor. What never changed was his character. He stayed grounded, humble, hardworking, coachable, and team first. Wrestling is an individual sport, but what Ty loved most was being part of a team and helping others. From the Tyrant Wrestling Club as a youth, to the St. Mark's High School, to the University of Maryland, to the Delaware State Police, and ultimately, the entire Delaware community was Ty's team. There was nothing he enjoyed more than helping each of us any way he could. Throughout his youth and through adulthood, Ty was always focused on you. Ty would constantly armor you with self-belief. If he placed first in a tourney and you placed third, he would point out what you did, the great things to earn a bronze. If Ty did 100 push-ups for a DSP physical fitness competition and you did 85, he was the first one giving you kudos. That is who Ty Snook was. One of the 1,000 reasons he was so lovable. To me, Ty Snook is a hero. Not just because of what he did on December 23rd, but because of how he lived a life of service. How he was courageous enough to put on the uniform to protect us. In my opinion, anyone brave enough to put on a police uniform is a hero. The risks they take, the pride they have in their work, it gives people like me a chance to raise my daughters in a safe environment. For that, I am forever grateful. Lastly, to Lauren and Letty, my heart breaks the most for you. You see, Ty was just getting started as a husband and father. Just to think how spectacular he was in that short time. I was fortunate to see Ty on Friday, December 12th, 2025. He was working overtime at Wegmans. We had just got back from Disney, and we were trying to stop there real quick before we headed home. Sitting there, smiling with that beautiful grin in his police car. Husband to an amazing wife. Father to a stunning daughter. You could see the joy in his eyes. After we talked for a little, I hustled in the store to catch up with my daughters and wife. The pep I felt in my step was because I saw someone who changed my life. Not for what was about to happen 11 days later, but because of who he always was. A dad, a spouse, a son, a brother, a teammate, a friend, a colleague. Someone we all loved because he was always there for us. As we exited the store, I looked in his car again so Kristen, Kai, and Kiva could see my hero. But he wasn't there. He was probably off helping someone, changing a tire, or providing them with grace since they were having a tough day. I thought, no big deal. I will get lucky again soon, and I will run into my friend. Well, that fortunate day was stolen from me. But out of the darkness must come light. How can we continue to honor Ty Snook? If you see a police officer at Wawa or working at the mall, tell him thank you. Ty would have liked that. When you get your Barstool hoodie or t-shirt, stop by a local high school wrestling match. If you see someone having a bad day, help pick them up, just like Ty would. If we continue to do that, in 1 month, in 1 year, in 10 years, Letty will always know the legend of her dad, and Lauren will always feel our love. Rest easy, champ. Thank you for always being you. I love you.
We will have remarks from Lauren Peterson, another family friend.
Wow, Jay, I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but I'll give it a shot. My name is Lauren Peterson, but Ty called me Uncle Lauren. It is with broken heart that I stand before you today, honoring the legacy of Ty. When Lauren asked me to speak, I felt honored, because talking about Ty is easy. He was the most extraordinary person I've ever known. I've had the privilege of watching him grow his entire life. Over the past week and a half, we've heard so many stories about Ty, stories of kindness, strength, humor, and heart. Every one of them paints the same picture, a man who made people feel better by being in their lives. Today, I want to share some of those impacts that he's had on me, the memories we've made, and the lives he's shaped. The word impact has many definitions. The one that resonates in relationship to Ty is having a strong effect on someone or something. Ty's impact wasn't only on me. The impact and legacy have been of epic proportion display since December 23rd. Captain Reinbold shared that Ty was tasked with training other rookie troopers, which is a huge responsibility and honor. Ty approached this, as always, with honor, knowing the importance of the job. He trained 20 rookies as a field training officer. To put that in perspective, I've been with Wilmington Police Department for just over 19 years, and I've trained 2. Ty didn't want to just train troopers. He wanted to inspire the next generation. Trooper Chris Taylor told me, the first impact Ty had on me was simply his presence. The first call together was with the 1081 subject. For people who don't know what 1081, it's a person that's mentally unstable. Ty approached with calm confidence, and the situation resolved safely. Looking at his size, I can understand why. Chris saw what true leadership looked like. Chris said he wanted to be and look just like Ty. Chris is 6'4", 220 pounds. That says something. So next thing you know, he goes into the gym and puts on 25 pounds of muscle. Started to look like Ty. Chris' girlfriend at the time once joked, Ty must get all the girls. Chris told her, you're wrong. He's a family man. Ty told Chris, all I ever wanted to do was start a family. When he met Lauren, he said, she's the one. Chris said he's never seen him so happy. Chris even went on to get a Doberman, just like Ty. But unfortunately, Chris's Doberman wasn't as big as Ty. Chris said Ty's Doberman was like a beast, just like Ty. I have my own memories that shaped our families and filled our lives with laughter. On a vacation at Acadia National Park in Maine, I remember we were all sitting on the rocks looking over the water. Ty and his dad both saying, "I see a whale." And me answering, "There ain't no whale." The line became a running joke to this day with our families. A camping trip to Treasure Beach, the Petersons in the smallest camper ever, and a tornado described by Cassie, which is really a small tornado, hitting in the middle of the night. We took many trips together over the years. A highlight was Walt Disney World. We've heard about Ty's athletic journey, but I'm going to talk about how it wasn't so athletic. Ty's athletic journey had a humble beginning. When he was 4, I served as his first and only soccer coach. I remember him standing on the sideline of Kirkwood Soccer with my son Andrew, my nephew Robbie, hesitant to take those first steps on the field. He was so shy then that he needed his mom Karen, close by, actually on the field, before he felt ready to join the rest of us. Ty started out as a pudgy kid playing football with the Newcastle County Football League Saints. None of us knew it then, but those early days in the field were the beginning of something bigger. The little boy, shy, round-cheeked and in his pads, was already starting to grow into the leader we would all know today and admire. Then came the wrestling trips. We traveled everywhere with Tyrant Wrestling. Looking back, I'm not sure how we didn't get investigated by DFS, Delaware Family Services. A bus full of kids stripping to their underwears in a McDonald's parking lot somewhere in Ohio to check their waist before they can get something to eat. Those were unforgettable days. The pool parties at the Jays were so much fun. Watching Ty to try to outdo Josh try to outdo Ty, diving off the diving board, see who could jump the highest or who could do the best flips. The dirt bike riding days were fun while they lasted. The riding was great until the time his dad, Matt, left his trailer outside filled with 3 dirt bikes and a 4-wheeler. Needless to say, they were stolen. I chased the vehicle. I wasn't a police officer at that time, but I chased the vehicle until I couldn't see it anymore. I lost it. I knew Ty was a leader when he would stay and cheer on his teammates, even if he was out of a tournament, which wasn't many. Ty helped my sons in so many ways, teaching them different moves. Ty was a team player that everyone wanted on their team. I followed Ty's wrestling career at St. Mark's closely. When he won the state championship as a senior, I was so proud. He then earned a full scholarship to the University of Maryland, where he went on to have an outstanding collegiate career. Ty was the epitome of a student athlete. After graduation, we heard about this ride-along. He asked me to do a ride-along. Remember, he went to school for pre-med. He was supposed to be an orthodontist. Not sure if it changed everything, but I think that night changed everything. a foot pursuit, a rooftop arrest, 150 bystanders yelling. It was chaotic. This was at 5th and Monroe. For some of you in here know where 5th and Monroe is. It's pretty chaotic every day. When we got back in the car, Ty said, "Uncle Lauren, that was awesome." He went home and told his mom, Karen, and of course, the next phone call to me was from Karen. He's not going to be I'm not going to say it, Wilmington police officer. You can fill in the blank. I told her, let him do whatever he wants to do, and he did. Ty then went on to become a state trooper. After 3 years on the job, he called me and told me he had the opportunity to go down to the academy to teach defensive tactics. I was very proud of him. He was already shaping the next generation. One of his rookies that he trained caught the wrath of Ty down at the academy. Trooper Jody Salyer. She said, "Ty beat the hell out of me." She said this with admiration. She was honored to have him as his primary FTO. She remembers an encounter with Lieutenant Whitmarsh, now Captain Whitmarsh, when Ty introduced her as a Division I women's basketball player at the University of Delaware. She said that boosted her confidence so much, and he made me feel respected. She said he was humble, kind, and even gentle with the frequent flyers they encountered. Now she teaches DTACs at the academy, and she promises that every recruit will know who Ty is, who he was, and continue his legacy. Trooper Hayden Ryan said she learned more than Ty than anyone else. She always felt safe with him. He built her confidence. She told him once, asked another trooper, "Why are you working today?" And he said, "If I didn't, Ty would call me you could fill the blank in, and I wanted to work like Ty." That's the kind of motivation Ty inspired in me. These are just a handful of many lives Ty has touched. Yet in these stories, these small but powerful moments that form the foundation of a legacy. As Ty's legacy will endure, all of his achievements, the one he cherished the most is his new family. He was deeply proud of his daughter, Letty, who will grow up knowing the strength, love, and character of her father. Botch, Mrs. J to me, and Mr. J, God rest his soul. I know he's looking down on us now. Started this lineage of giving us Karen. Karen and Ty had a bond like no other. Karen, she is fiercely loyal, Ty's biggest cheerleader, whether it be soccer, baseball, football, wrestling, or his academics. And never happier than when she was with Ty and talking about Ty. Mr. J was so proud of Ty becoming a state trooper, even though we all knew he was supposed to be an orthodontist. Mr. J has been a rock for Ty through the years, a dip in the pool, fireworks during Delaware City days, a great holiday meal. He loved going to Botch's house. Mr. and Mrs. Glenn Snook, who are no longer with us but are looking down on us, God rest their soul, who are with Ty now. You raised an amazing son who passed on his incredible strength, friendship, and compassion to Ty. He was influential in raising an amazing young man. Matt and Karen, thank you for allowing me to build a bond a lifetime of memories with such a remarkable human being. You raised an unbelievable son. Josh, the bond you and Ty shared will never fade. He looked up to you as much as you looked up to him. Hold on to those memories, the videos, the jokes, the Chucky doll, all of it. Cassie, Ty was so proud of you. Your accomplishments, he will always be your protector. He loved you deeply. Lauren, Ty loved you unconditionally. Thank you for giving him the greatest joy of his life, Letty. I promise she will always know her father. I want to close with a quote from Nelson Mandela. As I have said, the first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. Great peacemakers are all people of integrity, honesty, but humility. Ty never had to change. He was always a peacemaker. Remember, Ty is forever in your corner till Valhalla.
Now we will have remarks from the wife of Matthew Ty Snook, his wife, Lauren Snook.
Today is not just about loss. It is about who we choose to be after loss. I stand here as a wife, as a mother, and as the voice for a man who wanted what everyone here wants, to come home at the end of the day. Before anything else, I will speak plainly about why we are here. Ty was ambushed. Ty was shot from behind. He never had a chance to see what was coming. That truth is painful, but we will not soften it and we will not sensationalize it. Because evil does not get the final word, and we cannot let it win. There's a saying that in moments of danger, people choose fight or flight. Ty made a third choice that day. He chose duty, he chose responsibility, and he chose to stand where others could be protected. That choice defines his life far more than the way it ended. Ty was not defined by how he died. Ty was defined by how he lived, by how he loved, by how he showed up. And today, as we gather here from law enforcement agencies across the country, from our community, and from families watching at home, this moment becomes bigger than one family. It becomes about service, about sacrifice, and what we owe one another. There's a common phrase you hear in movies and in life: "I've got your back." Ty, baby, I wish I could have been with you that day. Not standing where you stood, but standing with you. You defended everyone all the time, and you carried what others didn't have to see. And as your wife, the one who stood quietly behind you, I wish I could have taken this from you. But I believe this with everything in me: God does not waste suffering. And what was done to you does not end in silence. It does not end in darkness. It did not end with violence having the final word. Every day since the evening of December 23rd, I've watched thousands of people stand up for you. I've watched strangers carry our family when we could not stand on our own. I've watched love show up loud, steady, and unafraid. And that, baby, is where your suffering met meaning. Our vows were not for one lifetime, they were forever. So hear me when I say this: I have your back now. I've got your back means you are not alone. It means someone is standing behind you when you can't see what's coming. That promise does not belong to just a uniform or a profession. It belongs to spouses who hold families together, to the children who are the reason this work is done, to communities who step forward when tragedy strikes. Today, that promise belongs to all of us. Ty lived his life with quiet strength. He didn't seek attention. He didn't ask for recognition. He carried responsibility when it mattered. At home with me, he was a husband who loved deeply, a father who planned a future, a man who believed showing up was the greatest form of commitment. At home, he showed his love in small, consistent ways. Every Friday, without fail, my baby brought me flowers. Not because something big had happened, not because he was fixing something, just because it was Friday. What mattered wasn't the flowers themselves. It was the thought behind them. He chose them so carefully. Sometimes it was the color I wore on a recent date night because he noticed and because he was already looking forward to his next Friday night off for our next one. Sometimes it reminded him of a sunset at the end of a long day. Other times, he chose it based on season or whatever I was decorating for at home. There was always a reason. There was always a quiet why. Friday flowers were Ty's way of saying, I see you, I'm thinking about you, and I'm still choosing us. They weren't just a gesture. They were his weekly vow. Week after week, he showed me that love isn't found in big moments. It's built in the ordinary ones, through consistency, intention, and showing up when no one is watching. And now, because of all of you, those flowers don't stop. They multiplied. The fundraisers, the donations, the meals, the messages, the people who just showed up without being asked. What began as a private act of love became a public act of care. To everyone who gave, organized, donated, or stood with us, thank you. What you did matters, and it will matter for the rest of our lives. Through organizations like Tunnels to Towers and the overwhelming generosity of this community, our home is secure. Our future is steady. That is not charity. That is honor. It is proof that one family, when opened up by loss, a community can come in and rise them up. I want to speak directly to the wives and spouses for a moment. You are the backbone of this calling. You carry the weight no uniform shows. You live with uncertainty, interrupted plans, and the quiet courage of loving someone who asks everything of them, often without recognition, and always without guarantees. When an officer serves, a spouse serves too, carrying the weight at home so the work can be done outside of it. I can't stand here and promise all of you that this will never happen again. I wish and pray that I could. But what I can promise is this: I will do everything in my power to make Ty's sacrifice meaningful. I will not let his life be reduced to a headline. I will not let his death disappear into silence. I will fight for change when change is needed. I will speak when it is uncomfortable. I will stand with the women who carry that same weight, praying that no more of us have to stand where I am standing today. My baby did not die in vain. To the children, the heart of all of this, everything you parents do is for you, for your safety, for your future, and for the life they hope you'll live. And to all the officers sitting with me here today, your lives matter. Your service matters. And the people standing behind you, your families, your communities, we've got your back. Because Ty's life sparked something larger than just this moment. It reminded us that service deserves support, that families deserve protection, that sacrifice must be honored, not just remembered. Before I leave, I want to share one simple ask. Say the words, make the call, leave the voicemail. I just have text messages. Tell the people that you love them, because none of us, there's my baby. None of us are promised tomorrow, and no one ever regrets saying it too often. I love you. Ty plans to come home on December 23rd. He planned a life. And when his life was taken, his legacy was not. It lives in the way he loved, in the way he protected, and in the way this community chooses not to look away. Before I close, I need one more thing I have to say. The strength that has carried me through these horrible days did not come from me alone. It came from God, it came from prayer, and from the moments I asked Ty to give me some of his strength when I did not think I had any left. It came to life through the people that stood by me. The officers have been with me every single day since Ty was murdered. It gave me a place for that strength to land. They showed up with respect, care, and a steadiness that I will never forget. The Delaware State Police was Ty's second home. It mattered deeply to him, and it will always matter to me. I will never stop standing up for the men and women who wear this uniform, and for all who serve, because I have seen firsthand the weight that they carry, and they continue to show up anyway. This should not be the cost of serving. And when tragedy does occur, families deserve to be met with care, resources, and support that truly holds them up. I'm going to wrestle with this for a while, but I can't change what happens to Ty. But I can commit to what happens next. I will make sure his name is always known, always spoken. There's my baby again. And always connected to the work of strengthening support, advocacy, and resources meant for officers and their partners, because I know how much that care has meant to me. That is the future I am committing to. This is how I will honor my husband. And that is how Ty's legacy will continue, through faith, through action, and through change. Thank you. I love you, baby.
Wow. We thank God for your strength and the way you have shared with others. The scriptures are true. When we read things such as to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. They're also true when we read things in times of the Lord calling us back home. And according to the scriptures, he does not call us by name, but he calls us servant. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Well, Ty heard that call, and he is now resting in the arms of our kind Savior. So, loving God, we ask you to be with this family and friends of Matthew Ty Snook in their time of mourning. Fill their hearts with your peace and with your strength. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise as we witness the Delaware State Police Honor Guard carry out law enforcement honors. At this time, all uniformed personnel are asked to don your covers and prepare to follow the commands of the Delaware State Police Honor Guard. We do ask you again, please ensure that your cell phones are silenced. Thank you.
1200 recount. Can you attempt to raise 1681?
Kessler. Recount to 1681. Recount to 1681. Recount to 1681. Corporal 1 Snook. All units stand by for an emergency message. All units, it is with deep sorrow to announce the end of watch for Corporal 1 Matthew Ty Snook, 1681. Corporal Snook served the citizens of Delaware with honor and integrity for 10 years. We will forever remember his kindness, dedication, and bravery. Corporal Snook, your watch is over. You are 10-7. Rest in peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask everyone in front of me in floor seating to remain standing. All others in the surrounding grandstands, you are asked to please take your seats. For those now sitting, uniformed personnel are all asked to please remove your covers. Please remain in your seats as I will dismiss the Delaware State Police and the family. Your patience is appreciated as we provide the family time to retire to their vehicles for departure. I will make another announcement shortly when those of you remaining will be dismissed. Once again, your patience is appreciated as we provide the family time to retire to their vehicles for departure.